Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So we go back to what we haven't finished. The unfinished business is the little paragraph on page 50, the one person. So we did not finish we did talk about the six things unsurpassed, right? We did talk about that. That is the 6 superpowers. So, but we did not talk about the 4 analytical knowledges. So let us look at the 4 analytical knowledges. So that is the third paragraph, the third line. So it is the manifestation of the 6 things unsurpassed. That means the manifestation of the 6 supernatural powers. And why would the Buddha is considered as the best of all people because of all these reasons? And why is he considered to be unique, without a peer, without a counterpart, incomparable, unequaled, matchless, unrivaled, the best of humans? It's not that he is so arrogant to call himself I'm the best. No. But because of all these powers that he becomes the best, and also because he rediscovered the truth of existence of the universe and human beings. So, and nobody else has the ability to discover that. So that's why he's considered to be the best of human, or the best of humans. So the 4 analytical knowledge it doesn't say in here. That's why I wanted to actually tell you what are the 4 analytical knowledges. The first one is the analytical knowledge of true meaning. What does it mean? What does it mean? So it means that he understands, he knows what's the true meaning of the Dhamma. And when he teaches the Dhamma, that he has this wonderful supreme knowledge that he can actually analyze so well, and also so perfect in communicating, in verbal communication, to present an appealing ways and meaningful ways of the presentation of the Dhamma.
Does Buddha have a name before?
Gautama.
Gautama is his
Siddhartha.
Oh.
Siddhartha, Prince Siddhartha.
Oh, okay, so the first name would be Siddhartha, or is it?
Gautama the Buddha. Siddhartha is his mundane name.
Oh, okay.
If you get some time to ask him to read you the first chapter, that you will, the introduction, you will hear the history of.
Oh, cool.
Okay, okay. So he has this power. He has this perfection in verbal communication with appealing and meaningful ways of presentation, the true meaning, the true meaning of the Dhamma. So the second is the analytical knowledge of the law. That means you can see this. Oh, it's Dhamma Patisabhita. Patisabhita, that means the analytical knowledge. So analytical knowledge on what? On the Dhamma. So the Dhamma is the knowledge of the law. Law of what? Yes, the law of universe, the law of existence, right? The law of impermanency. Yeah, these are all the law that actually Buddha rediscovered. And even though the Buddha is not here or was not born, if he weren't born, these laws are still there, right? So he did not invent this law. These laws of causation, these laws of impermanence, these laws of dependent origination were not invented by him, but he rediscovered them. And then he put them together and teach us. And so he has this analytical knowledge to actually to present the Dhamma to us. Okay? Then this nirutti, that nirutti means language. So he has a very high analytical knowledge of language. So, for example, when we read these passages, if we don't go deeper to dig into it, we don't analyze it, we will just We'll be just on the surface all the time. So, but if we try to analyze them, and if we try to really contemplate on them, then we will go into a deeper meaning, right? So, for some of these teachings here. So in this knowledge, that means he has a way, he has this special way, he has this really supreme way on how to understand this through the how to present in this language. And of course, you remember in the older days, there are no printing, there are no books, there were no writing. Everything was passed down by oral tradition. So the Buddha taught, and people listened, people heard, and they passed it on. So remember, these were all being passed down by oral tradition from the Buddha to all the practitioners, all the monks, but one person was very particular. Who was that? Ananda. Ananda was very particular because he had a perfect memory, and he remembered all the teachings of the Buddha. And when they compiled the teachings of the Buddha together, they asked, Mahakassapa asked Ananda, you have to be present to really, so that we can compile the Dhamma part, the teachings part of what the Buddha has taught. So there are three parts of what the Buddha has taught, and they compile together. The first part is just the Dhamma, the teachings. The second part is Vinaya, that means the precepts. The third part, Abhidhamma. Okay, so the Buddha, and then the Ananda said, but we need you to become enlightened before you can really come and be participant in it. So they need 500 arahats, and there were only 499 then. Ananda wasn't enlightened yet. Ananda said, okay, give me 7 days, I'll become enlightened. And he tried so hard, meditating, wanting to be enlightened. On day 7, at the last watch of the night, that means between 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock, that is the last watch of the night. And he said, I won't attain enlightenment. I'm so tired. 7 days, day and night, he was practicing, he was meditating. I give up. I'm going to bed. So he puts his head on the pillow, and then he became enlightened. Because why? At that time, he just wanted to rest. Nothing but to rest. So there was no craving in enlightenment. You see, if one is craving for enlightenment, one is actually walking towards the different direction. Yeah, Dana?
With Buddha, was
That is the power. That is one power that he has.
Oh, okay.
He knows it. Because of all his past lives, many eons of past life, he has been practicing, developing. Like a kid, if a kid has been studying all the time and continue studying, of course he will gather more knowledges, right? But a Buddha is not studying, a Buddha is actually practicing.
Right.
So he developed this insight. And even though if he doesn't know how, for example, I'll tell you some stories that are real and updated and modern times. There was a monk, they know him. I've always talked about him, the fruit monk. Remember the fruit monk in Taiwan? Crooked, and always sat up, never lie down to sleep, remember? And he doesn't read. He doesn't read the words. He can't read. But people ask him questions. He said, about particular sutra, for example, particular sutra, he said, okay, you read it to me, and I'll explain it to you. When people read it to him, and he just explains it so fluently. He never studied that sutra, but he knows why. There is this inner knowledge, because he's enlightened. You see? So there is no obstacles. But us, we have a lot of obstacles.
So like the whole thing that I get confused on is like with like Christianity with Jesus, like they talk about in the desert the temptation and whatnot, and he doesn't make a mistake. And I don't think Buddha makes a mistake either. I haven't read a lot of it yet, but
You should read his life
yeah.
story, because he has so much temptations.
Does it say that he makes an error and then learns from it, or he's learned from the past life, so therefore?
That is a super knowledge that he has.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. Naturally possessed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the fourth is Patibanya Patisambhita. That means the analytical knowledge of inspired speech. That means whatever he talk, whatever he say, it will just inspire people. Okay? And so that is the four analytical knowledges that is actually mentioned in this paragraph. So, no questions? No. Okay. So in the history in India, and there are a lot of poems which are considered as the literary history of the world as creative writing. And so I want to share with you a couple of these poems written by the elders. And this is written by Elder Sirimanda. Tera means elder, okay? And it's translated by Andrew Olansky. Sorry, okay. And it says, the world is assailed by death and smoothed by old age, pierced with the arrow of craving, and always obscured by desires. That's how it says about the world. The world is assailed by death and besieged by old age, eternally beaten with no relief, like a thief beneath the rod. So when you read these two paragraphs, what did it remind you? Which chapter did it remind you in this book? Nobody?
In the mountains.
Yes. Chapter 1, isn't it?
Is it chapter 1?
The human condition, remember? Yeah, when the mountains come crashing onto you. What are those mountains represent? Old age, death, sickness. Like a thief beneath the rod, what does it mean? Eternally beaten. Like, right, in the old days, they whip you, right? And now, some area like Singapore, they still whip. What? Yeah, they still whip. Huh? Caning, they call caning, yeah. Yeah. And then the 450 is old age, illness, and death approach like three great masters of fire. No strength can resist them, no speed can outrun them. Right? True, isn't it? Yeah, we all experience that. So this is, remember, this actually relates to, you can relate it to the first chapter. This is so good, so that's why I wanted to share with you. And then he says, spend your days without confusion, whether few or many, remain days. For every night that slips away, there is that much less of life left. This is scary. Depressed? Oh, actually, it's actually very, very optimistic because, wow, my life, I better use it right now. Don't wait. There's no waiting. But a lot of us wait. Oh, wait until tomorrow, I'll do that. Wait until tomorrow, I'll go and visit him. He's too sick, but he won't die. I'll go and visit him tomorrow. I'll go and visit him next week. But you see, you regret, right? I did. You did too? Shake hands. Yeah, so this is too long already, one night. What I used to say is, how close you are. One breath closer. One breath closer to death. When we take one breath, then we're one breath closer to that end of life. That's even more depressing. That means make full use of your life right now. Make full use of your life right now, right here. Don't wait too long, yeah?
Holding your breath.
Hold your breath, okay. Okay, don't breathe. Then you kill yourself faster. So whether walking or standing, sitting or lying down, your final night is drawing near. You have no time to be lazy. He wants to remind us, life, the end of life is very imminent. Even though we are not aware of it, we should be aware that we need to actually put ourselves into practice right away. Don't wait too long. I love this poem. That's why I wanted to share with you, because it echoes with the first chapter. So I want you to reflect on this. So what is Buddha to you? What is Buddha to you? You said teacher? Oh, he's just somebody in the past. I've never met. He's nobody to me. The role model, yeah. Anybody else? You want to become a Buddha yourself? Yeah, role model, right?
What comes to my mind, I know this sounds a little ridiculous, but like bud, when like a plant or a vegetable or whatever opens, and then just the word like it's happening,
Yeah,
growth and everything else.
yeah. You become a Buddha just like, Still a long way to go. We all still have a long. How often you remember him at times of sweetness? Not very often. At time of sweetness. Not very often, right?
It's the most important times to remember, I think. The highs and the lows. It's gotta...
Yeah, but we don't. But it's the most important time. So how often you remember him at times of difficulties and challenges? All the time. Yeah, he's like a buoy, right? Yeah, grab hold of the buoy. Yeah, grab hold of his buoy, and I'll be safe. I'll be okay. But also remember the Buddha at the time of sweetness too, because sweetness may turn into bitterness very soon. Who knows? Nobody knows. It's not pessimistic, but it is realistic. Because how long would sweetness stay? Yeah. Usually pretty short. And how long difficulties and challenges stay? Usually very long, right? You see? So when we remember him, not remember him as an idol, as somebody that we actually pray to so that he can come and help us. No. Remember him is remembering his teachings and remembering how his qualities, how he actually strived through difficulties, and how he renounced the rich life, the rich and comfortable life. And that is the important thing to remember. And when you remember the teachings, when you remember him, that means at that time you're connected with his teachings. Then those teachings will help you to understand your own situation at that moment. If it is a difficult situation, you remind yourself it will not last very long. But it is my mind wanting it to go sooner. That's why I'm suffering. When it is sweet, you say, okay, this is sweet. Okay, I enjoy it, but don't cling on it for too much, because it will go, right? So remember that, all right? And would remembering him at the low time support, encourage, and console you? Oh, I have told you already. Would remembering him at times of low time would console you, support you, and encourage you? Yeah, that's good. So bring him all the time with you. Every day, every moment, every second, carrying him with your elbow. Bring him along. So just like the movie, it's called Tuesdays with Morris. Yeah, I bet you may have watched it, Tuesdays with Morris. And he said, in the Buddhist way, there is a little bird on your shoulder, and the bird is just reminding you, are you living the way you want to live that day? So it's your little bird there. So that little bird, did you carry your Buddha? Did you carry the Buddha with you? Did you carry the Dhamma with you all the time? Okay, so remind yourself. So this is not in the book, but I want to talk to you about this, because this chapter is called the Bringer of Light. The Bringer of Light, but it doesn't include this sutta in here. So, but I wanted to include this sutta in here. It's called the Sun. It's Samyutta Nikaya, 56, subchapter 38. He said, Bhikkhus, so long as the sun and moon have not arisen in the world, for just so long there is no manifestation of great light and radiance. But then blinding darkness prevails, a dense mass of darkness, for just so long day and night are not discerned. The month and fortnight are not discerned. The seasons and the year are not discerned. So what did you get from this paragraph? So long the sun and moon have not arisen in the world, for just so long there is no manifestation of great light and radiance. But then blinding darkness prevails, a dense mass of darkness. So what does he mean by darkness? What does this mean by darkness? Ignorance. Yeah, Sue? Ignorance. Any more? Sufferings. Good.
Unforgiveness.
That is sufferings. Yeah. Confusion. Blindness. No understanding of the Dhamma. Actually, anything that is blindfolding your mind, not giving your mind clarity, not giving your mind the wisdom, that is darkness. Yeah? Ignorance, craving, anger, doubt, arrogance, confusion, that cause sufferings. Right? So this is the darkness. And for just so long, day and night are not discerned. The month and fortnight are not discerned. The seasons and the year are not discerned. So you cannot make it out. Make out whether it's a day and a night, whether it is December or June, whether it is autumn or winter, because it's so dark. It's so dark. And we're so blindfolded. We don't see anything. Okay? So, and the next one he said, but bhikkhus, when the sun and moon arise in the world, then there is the manifestation of great light and radiance. Then there is no blinding darkness, no dense mass of darkness. Then day and night are discerned. The month and fortnight are discerned. The seasons and year are discerned. So, there is no blinding darkness because there is light and radiance. So when in a dark room, you want to see things, you have to turn the light on. If you don't have a light, hopefully you have a candle. If you don't have a candle, hopefully you have a light, a match. At least you see little quick sparkle. At least you will have some idea of where is the switches, where is the switch, right? So when the sun and the moon arise, of course they don't arise at the same time, they arise at the different times, there will be this manifestation of great light and radiance. Okay? So too bhikkhus, so too monks, he said, so too as a Tathagata, that means the Buddha, enlightened one, has not arisen in the world, an arhat, a perfectly enlightened one. For just so long there is no manifestation of great light and radiance. But then blinding darkness prevails, a dense mass. So it's the same. A dense mass of darkness. For just so long there is no explaining, no teaching, no proclaiming, no establishing, no disclosing, no analyzing, no elucidating of the Four Noble Truths. So here it says, if the Buddha does not arise, if he did not arise 2,600 years ago, so all this Dhamma, there will be no explanation of the Dhamma, there will be no teaching of the Dhamma, there will be no proclaiming the Dhamma, there is no establishing the Dhamma, no disclosing the Dhamma, no analyzing, no elucidating. There's no Dhamma at all. And he says here, it's only the Four Noble Truths. Okay, the Four Noble Truths are sufferings, the cause of sufferings, cessation of sufferings, and the path of cessation of sufferings. So why is this so important, the Four Noble Truths? Why is it so important to us? Why he keeps saying this?
So we understand the nature of reality.
Yeah, our life right now. When our life is, and when we encountered ups and downs in our life, and then the mind starts to go into this craving and go into this anger, and we start to create those we start to become unhappy, we start to become dissatisfied, we start to become miserable, we start to suffer. Then, does this ring a bell then? Oh, the Buddha said, the Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths. Does it ring a bell to you? Would you ring a bell there? Can you remember? Yeah, we are studying, we are reading it now, we are reading it out loud now. But in your real life, can you recall that at the time of difficulties? Very rare. Yeah, very rare. Yeah, this human mind is so cheaty, is so cheeky, is so tricky, is so darn smart to avoid the reality, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you agree. Thank you for agreeing. So he said, but bhikkhus, when a Tathagata arises in the world and Arahant are perfectly enlightened, you can see it's the same. When he arises, then there is the manifestation of great light and radiance. Then no blinding darkness prevails, no dense mass of darkness. Then there is the explaining, teaching. That means he would start to teach. He taught, and now we know. Now we can read. Now we have this Dhamma to read because he has arisen 2,600 years ago. So what for? The Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths, the noble truth of suffering, the noble truth of the causes of suffering, the noble truth of cessation, and the noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. This is a very important, this is actually the core teaching, one of the core teachings of the Buddha, the Four Noble Truths. And this is the foundation that we really need to actually build on, very strong foundation to build on. And we need to constantly remind ourselves, we need to constantly to contemplate on the Four Noble Truths. Then you will say, wow, sister, that would be too pessimistic. We're constantly talking about suffering. No. When you constantly realize that there is suffering in this life, then what is possible to come? What kind of mind you will have? Expansive. Yeah. And wiser and free. You want to stop it. You want to renounce. You want to be free from it, right? Then so you have to have that strong volition to renounce, to let go, to be free. That is called ultimate freedom, ultimate detachment. How do you detach if you are so attaching to your mundane life, to your mundane sensual pleasures? How are you going to actually to practice this? You can't. That's why so many people find practicing the Buddha's teaching is so difficult, because they think that the Buddha force us to let go of everything. No, I cannot eat dinner. I cannot have dilibar. I cannot have chocolate. No, that is not renunciation. Yes, you can have dilibar. You can have chocolate. You can eat dinner. But it's just that when you don't have those, you don't sit there and cry and beat yourself up. Where's my dilibar? No, you don't. And you say, oh, there's no dilibar, there's no chocolate, and I don't eat dinner. It's okay. Then you don't cause sufferings to yourself. You see? But we do constantly cause sufferings to ourselves because we forget.
This is a bigger thing, but like I noticed with the food industry, everything's changing so much that even if you attach yourself to that one item that you really enjoy, it might not be there in the next 5 or 3 years.
Then you start to cry. Oh. So the food industry make you miserable.
So we have cut out completely preservatives and any processed food, and so she's talking from experience here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, but it's tough. It's tough. So abstain from those. We still have a lot of fresh vegetables,
Yes.
right? Yeah, especially from Poland, especially from a precious forest, right? Okay. So that's this subchapter finished. The one person. I just want to share with you because the bringer of light, when you really need to actually study this sutta, the sun. So you understand why would the Buddha be addressed as the bringer of light? Okay, that sutta actually taught us. So I want to share with you based on this. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a very small word. Oh, Sahutta. Sahutta is another elder, was another elder, and he wrote this poem. Of course, the poem was in Pali. It was translated into English, okay? So he was the bearer of 32 major marks, resembling but the moon with her lunar mansions. What does it mean? The moon with her lunar mansions. Huh? The cycles of the moon? What is mansion? Mansions. Huge houses, right? Mansions. Like landings. But the moon with her lunar mansions is the big, huge landing of the moon. When the moon shines, does it only shine on one spot? It's the same moon. You can see the moon in BC, in Abbotsford, in Mission, in Chilliwack, in Vancouver, up north, Prince George. You can see the same moon. The area that it covers is so immense, it's so huge, isn't it? Yeah? He was endowed with minor marks similar to the sovereign set trees. That means a set tree that like a Bodhi tree, okay? Which had blossomed. When a set tree or salad tree blossom, it's so pretty, so beautiful. They said the salad tree blossom every how many thousands years? Oh, once every thousands years. So can you imagine how beautiful that is? So he was endowed with those minor marks and surrounded by a network of radiant rays. He shone similar to a gold mountain surrounded by his radiant rays of a fathom, measured similar to the sun of 100 radiant rays. Can you imagine? If we look at Mount Sham in the morning when the sun rises, do you see those rays coming down? Beautiful, but 100 radiant rays. Can you imagine those? That is so powerful, so bright, so pretty, so beautiful. And the excellent conqueror of Goat Face was like a mountain of female recluses. So pretty, beautiful, okay? Like very serene, beautiful. You say exquisite? Exquisite? No, this is not exquisite. You cannot. I don't think you can describe a human face with exquisite, right? You can? Really? Huh? Features. Oh, okay. His heart was brimful of mercy, and his quality resembled the ocean. This is just part of the poem I picked out. So I just wanted to share with you this radiance and this quality. His heart was brimful of mercy. That means kind, loving kindness, compassion, right? Karuna. And his quality resembled the ocean. Can you quality resemble the ocean? How big is the ocean? It's endless. All the oceans are connected, right? All the 5 oceans in the world are connected. And his quality resembled that vastness of the ocean. It's a beautiful poem. If you can read the Pali, it's even more beautiful. Okay? So, reflections. I probably know that I am running out of time, so I did not, I just put it in one go. So what is the blinding darkness in human existence? We talk about that. How would one feel if one is overwhelmed by this blinding darkness? I don't like it. Do you like it? No. What methods did the Buddha teach us on how to come out of darkness? Huh? Changing? Like
Reflect on impermanence.
constantly reflect on impermanence? Good. Constantly, what? How?
Detaching from things that you crave.
How? What methods? How? Meditation? But even during meditation, really, you can detach that much? It's the practice, yeah. And also during meditation, you can also reflect upon the law of dependent origination. Whatever experience that you are experiencing at that moment, it arises out of causes, out of conditions. It doesn't just arise out of a blue moon. It's there because of conditions. And it's disappear because of conditions. Right? If you want to make bread, so those cooking monster, if you want to make bread, if you do not have water, can you make bread? You can't. Can you replace water with something else? Yes, with milk. But if you don't have milk, you can't. Just mix it with butter. Really crunchy, very hard, right? So, conditions. Without one ingredient, you will not make a perfect bread. Without two ingredients, that's even worse, right? So, that's all dependent origination, remember. So simple. When you just look at making cookies or bread, then you see this is the law that he taught us. And constantly reflect upon them. And do they work? Does meditation work? Does detachment work? Does understanding the law of impermanence, does understanding the law of dependent origination work? Why?
I think if we really get to this like ever changing whatever is like sweet but would then disappear, all the non-sweet and suffering will disappear too. And in a way you don't have to suffer so much knowing it's going to change. You just have to deal with it and then it will eventually
Moment to moment.
conditions
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah. So is there any mundane way to cast away blinding darkness?
No, it brings more darkness in our lives.
Really? So pessimistic.
Well, no, by not being mindful and working at it, it's not that it brings more, but it doesn't bring us away.
I think some mundane way can cast away some blinding darkness. So what are psychologists there for?
Well, to me, that's still being mindful, though, right? They're teaching you ways, even though they're not calling it mindfulness quite often. But they're still teaching you
I like that.
mindfulness, right?
Yeah.
Because it's being aware.
Ah.
That's they're teaching you to notice your own thoughts and your own way of behaving and what it is to fix those problems. So even though we're not thinking that is mindfulness.
What about medications?
Yeah.
That is mundane way. Sometimes it helps to calm down a person. I mean, our doggy had an operation, and the vet prescribed her with some calming medications. Right? So
How about hiking in the woods?
that is mundane way. Yeah, that is mundane way. Eating, that is mundane, but would it really help? It won't help in the long run, right? Eventually you have to deal with it. Hiking in the woods is a meditation. It's not just walking. If you can walk, if you can hike with a strong awareness, I tell you, that is a very deep walking meditation. And it is one of the really supramundane way to mundane and super mundane way. But if you're walking and then you're singing and then you're wandering thoughts, and it's not going to help much. Superficially, you think that you feel better, but it will come back to haunt you over and over again, unless you really be aware and deal with it. Yeah.
I think every moment you have a chance to
Yes.
cast away a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like rubbing down the dust on the Mount Sumero, right? Every 100 years we wipe down one stroke, right? So, how do they differ from the Buddha's way or from the Buddha's teachings? I'm just asking you to reflect upon, and so think about that, okay? And you can discuss it, later on. All right? Okay. Any questions? No. Okay. 1 hour is over. Okay. Let us dedicate the merits. May these blessings extend to all, that we, with all the other living beings, together will attain the Buddha way. Let this good thought to arise. May we wish more and more people will encounter the words of the Buddha, study them, practice them, and help themselves to free themselves from those entanglements and be free, happy, and peaceful.